Some reaction now to the news out of the United States this last hour that Donald Trump has won enough delegates to become the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, setting up a rematch with Joe Biden. Joining us live is Graham Richardson, former Labor Senator. Richard, good to see you. Thanks for your time. Here we are again, shaping up for a Trump-Biden rematch.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I think that's how you'd describe it. I think it's very disappointing for the rest of the world, let alone for 350 million Americans, to think that the best they can do are these two old men, one of whom has never read a book, and the other one can't remember what room he's in. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, what does it mean for us here in Australia, do you think? What would another Donald Trump presidency do for the deals on AUKUS, for example?
I don't really believe it would change much. I know that Trump has this love affair with that murderous thug Putin, something I simply don't understand. But whether he has that or not, the whole Washington elite don't have it, and they would prevent him from doing anything stupid.
We'd all like to think so. Richard, look, let's look at politics back home. We're seeing another GST row today. New South Wales is calling foul over its latest round of distribution. Are they right to do so?
I'm sorry, I missed that last bit.
I was just wondering your thoughts on the GST distribution. We've seen the New South Wales Premier, Chris Minns, today saying essentially that this is a joke, too much money is going to Victoria and, of course, Western Australia. What do you make of it? I mean, Anthony Albanese isn't in any position politically to change it, considering the seats that he needs in WA.
He can't change it, and Chris Minns has a duty to whinge. And we've been hearing the same whinge for decades. It just goes on and on. Every year there's a complaint. The Western Australia gets too much, and it probably does, but so what? I mean, I don't think anyone in Sydney really feels terribly deprived because of what's happened in a way that the money's being distributed. I just don't see that. So it's just one of those things where you say forever thus.
Yes, and Tasmania usually someone that gets a state rather that gets a better distribution as well. The campaign, of course, well and truly in earnest. Just a week and a half to go until Tasmanians go to the polls, and it's looking like a minority government could be the result.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you got to remember that's a small place. Tasmania's got a population smaller than Newcastle. I think a lot of us forget that. And so it doesn't take many votes to change things down there. If you've got enough cousins and friends and mates, you can achieve great things with very few votes. So we'll wait and see what transpires. But it's been a long time since Labor had the numbers in Tasmania. I suspect they'll fall short again.
Well, Parliament is returning to Canberra next week. What are you expecting to be on the agenda? We've seen a lot of debate while Parliament's been on a break around the coalition's nuclear ambitions. Also, this detainee saga keeps rolling on for the government.
Yeah, look, I worry about this whole nuclear argument. In Labor, it's been very fashionable to reject too much nuclear influence. We had the three mines policy, which was meant to just sort of park the issue away, get us through an election. But it's never been definitive enough to decide the future. And we need to decide that future. So I'd like to see a better result on uranium policy in Labor's platform, and that would require some big changes. But reality is now, throughout America, you've got plenty of these very small nuclear units that'll just look after one town or one city, and you're going to see more of that. You're not going to stop nuclear power by sticking your head in the sand and saying, I don't like it.
Okay, well, I think we'll be hearing a lot more about that next week. Richo, always good to see you. Thanks for your thoughts.
Good on you, actually. Thanks.